It's Friday, February the 14th, 2014, Valentine's Day. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield and this is episode number 21 of T.E.N, Transport Evolved News for the week beginning February 10th, 2014. Last week, Mark told you about a team from Tesla Motors who managed to set a new world record by driving from Los Angeles to New York in two Tesla Model S sedans in just 76 hours. This week, I'm going to tell you about two guys who obviously thought that trip was just a little too easy, so they decided to drive from Texas to the Panama Canal in a brand new Tesla Model S P85. Louisiana residents Randy Denman and Dean Lewis quietly left the McAllen, Texas area the same weekend that Tesla Motors was celebrating its record-breaking 76-hour coast-to-coast trip. Heading south, they made good progress through Mexico, charging wherever they could courtesy of an estimated 20 different power adapters the duo carried with them. They managed the trip to the Panama Canal without having a single breakdown or flat, although the duo did admit that they had to directly wire their charging cable into 240-volt wiring on several occasions to get the charge they needed. Like, directly. We're not sure what we're more impressed with. The fact they manage roads better suited to an SUV in a high-performance luxury plug-in, or the fact that they took said luxury performance plug-in Tesla Model S all the way to the Panama Canal. Either way, well done guys. Normally when an automaker tests a prototype car on the roads, they'll cover it in a special camouflage vinyl wrap to keep sneaky automotive spy paparazzi from figuring out what's being tested in secret. But this week, photographs surfaced of a BMW 3 Series prototype plug-in hybrid cold weather testing in Scandinavia. And the only camouflage it was wearing was a tiny little black stripe on the front fenders, neatly hiding the charging socket. We think this new 3 Series probably uses the same 70 kilowatt electric motor driving the rear wheels and a 4-cylinder turbocharged gasoline engine driving the front wheels as the X5 eDrive concept we saw last year at the Frankfurt Motor Show. That should equate to an all-electric range of around 20 miles per charge and a 0 to 60 time of around 7 seconds. But it's worth noting too that this car, should it ever reach market, will be marketed under BMW's main brand name, not the recently launched i brand used to sell its i3 City Hatch and i8 plug-in hybrid sports car. We think that's because the i3 and i8 are designed from the ground up to be primarily electric vehicles with the range extension as required from a small fuel-efficient onboard engine, while the 3 Series eDrive and X5 eDrive are primarily gasoline vehicles with a small electric drivetrain to enable them to meet various emission standards worldwide and gain access to those all-important zero-emission zones in major cities. If you've been an EV fan for any length of time, you're probably already aware of the phenomenon of EV-hating misinformation that is Fox News, or Folks News, F-A-U-X, as some of our readers like to call it. Over the years, we've had a whole bunch of mistruths come from the mouths of Fox anchors and regulars, including a claim that the Chevy Volt's battery pack was just capable of 11 miles, electric cars would need their battery packs replacing after a few years, and one of our favourites, that they would increase divorce rates. Now we've got a whole new cluster of howlers, but this time from Fox Business regular Lauren Fix. New York resident Fix is actually a pretty well-known and respected car expert in certain areas, having worked in the industry for many years, but her lack of EV-specific knowledge is appalling. In a segment on Fox Business earlier this week, she claimed EVs lost half of their usable range in cold weather, needed regular maintenance on the battery pack and power electronics, or they'd need replacing, and even suggested gasoline cars could be more efficient than electric ones. No. In so many ways, no. Suffice to say, not a lot she said made sense or was even based in fact, but her misinformed segment did give us cause to debunk her myths over at transportevolved.com. Go check it out after you finish watching this. Despite what Ms. Fix and various other media types would have you believe, however, the social and environmental benefits of electric cars cannot be matched by any gasoline car. That's the opinion of the Automotive Science Group, whose 2014 Automotive Performance Index played the 2014 Nissan Leaf at the top of its rankings, with the smallest life cycle environmental footprint of any 2014 4-seat or larger car on sale in the US today. The study looks at the environmental impact of each car from its manufacture through to its recycling, as well as its sociological and health impact, in addition to more conventional benchmarks like top speed, specification and safety. As the ASG points out, even with the current US electricity grid mix average, which varies state by state and region by region in its carbon footprint, owning a Leaf is environmentally beneficial compared to a gasoline car and will only get more so as the US electrical grid cleans up its energy mix. The Nissan Leaf wasn't the only plug-in in this year's study to do well. In fact, while the Leaf won overall and the mid-cycle class in terms of life cycle performance, the Ford Focus Electric won in the compact car class. Meanwhile, the Tesla Model S won best environmental performance in the full-size cars class for its zero-emissions drivetrain and eco-friendly manufacturing process. Take that, gasoline. What type of person chooses to drive an EV? Someone who wants to save money? Someone who feels they have a duty to drive the cleanest car they can to preserve the planet for the next generation? Someone who wants to free us from foreign oil? These are all pretty normal responses we'd get when asking friends and family the reasons people plug in, but now Cadillac wants a new type of person to plug in, the self-made businessman. In its latest advert for its range-extended Cadillac ELR EV, Caddy goes where no EV ad has gone before, suggesting that real Americans, the successful self-made workaholic types who are fiercely patriotic, hate taking vacations and think Europeans are weak, choose the ELR. The character in the ad, played by actor Neil McDonough, is a no-compromise, over-demanding sort of person who you'd probably not want as your boss. You know the sort, the type of guy who's happy to treat those below him with disdain, demands his steak just so, and doesn't think twice about flying to the Hamptons for the weekend in his private Learjet. While we're really glad to see EVs being marketed to a new segment of buyers, we're not sure just how many folks really will choose the ELR over a Tesla Model S, especially since the Model S 85 kWh P85 isn't really that much more expensive. Do you think this advert will attract people to EVs or put them off? Let us know. Christian von Koenigsegg, the guy who founded Koenigsegg, the Swedish firm responsible for some of the most lusted after gasoline hypercars on the market today, has a dirty, dirty little secret. He loves electric cars, and he said he recently purchased his Tesla Model S and it's the best car you can buy for the money. Yes, folks, the man behind some of BBC Top Gear's most favoured dino-gulping cars is actually a closet EV fan. Moreover, he's gone onto the record to say that the Tesla Model S is far better than the BMW M5 in terms of handling, acceleration and driver fun. Speaking at a Swedish Tesla owners event earlier this month, he shared his love for the Tesla after recently receiving his Model S sedan, a car he had to wait more than 18 months for. And we're guessing that Koenigsegg is the kind of guy who can have any car he wants, including his latest company's flagship model, which can rocket from 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds and has a top speed of about 270 miles per hour. Just goes to show how amazingly good a Tesla is, eh? Forgive us for saying so, but BMW's handling of its US rollout for the i3 electric car just seems to be getting more and more ham-fisted. If it wasn't enough that BMW has been keeping its loyal electronauts in the dark for months concerning a special electronaut edition of the i3, to then just recently reveal it would contain a few extra low-cost things like special floor mats to set it apart from all the other cars, we learned this week that you'll only be able to buy a BMW i3 in the US for the first 3 months of its launch if you buy the high-end every box ticked model. Called the Launch Edition, this Hobson's choice of i3 will at least come with a Terra World package, parking driving package, driving assist and tech package, heated front seats, DC fast-end charging and high-end sound system, but it will also command a $50,875 price tag for the all-electric and $54,725 price tag for the range-extended REX model. BMW has said after the 3 months are up, you'll be able to order any BMW i3 trim level you want, but we think BMW is playing a dangerous game with the fans by making them choose between the higher model or wait 3 months. So in short, if you want to drive a BMW i3 and you're in the US, you'll either have to wait till June or pay extra. Atlanta, Georgia is known for being one of the most rapidly growing EV markets in North America, thanks to energetic salespeople, proximity to neighbouring Tennessee where the Nissan Leaf is made, and a large and booming tech industry, and some of the most generous state incentives towards EV buying in the entire union. But as we heard this week, legislation proposed by Republican House Representative Chuck Martin could end the $5,000 state incentive for plug-in car buyers in Atlanta, making the place far less EV friendly. Interestingly, Martin isn't all anti-EV, having backed legislation that would help Tesla sell up to 1,500 cars in Georgia every year, up from the 150 car limit currently imposed on the Californian automaker via an exemption to the state's auto dealer law. Martin says he introduced the bill because the state is essentially subsidising wealthier residents who can already afford to pay full list price for an EV. But with Atlanta being one of the fastest growing EV markets in the US, we don't think this legislation will get passed without a massive fight. If you're in Georgia, maybe it's time to write to your local representative, eh? Can fish drive cars? More specifically, can fish drive electric cars? No, I'm not joking, and it's not a trick question, and this is a fish driving a toy electric car, and we think it's awesome! Here's how it works. As he swims around in his little tank, an image capture device from Studio Dip captures his position using the company's proprietary image capture technology. Then, whichever direction the fish swims, the car moves. It's totally geeky and really rather clever, and we like it. And I've just got visions of this fish going around an office on his own, exploring. Fantastic. That's it for this week. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode of T.E.N. And in the meantime, visit www.transportevolve.com for all the EV news that's fit to print, subscribe to our channel and other shows on YouTube, and join us live on Sunday when we'll be discussing these stories and others on Transport Evolved. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield, and until next time, stay juiced up! This is my Valentine's present from my wife. She is awesome. Look. And I'm going to show you the back too. I think we need to get Mark one too.